Now, the violence across Mexico has trapped thousands of residents and visitors in parts of the country. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister says 26,000 Canadians are now registered through Global Affairs as currently in Mexico. In an update today, Minister Anita Anand also said she did not receive any indication that Mexico was launching this military operation, the one that triggered violence right across the country. Reporters asked her whether she thinks Mexican president now has that situation under control.
I am concerned with the safety and security of Canadians first and foremost. In answer to your question, in my conversation with Foreign Minister de la Fuente last evening, he indicated that the situation should stabilize in the coming days and that this was a targeted operation which will not continue.
Cameron MacKay is Canada's ambassador to Mexico. Minister, thanks for this, Ambassador. Minister Anand says she thinks that we should see stabilizing in the coming days. Is your sense that this operation is over at this point?
Well, certainly the initial operation from yesterday is over. And indeed, the situation today is stabilizing. There were no significant security incidents overnight across Mexico, nor so far today. It's late afternoon in Mexico City here now. And so far so good. We're absolutely going in the right direction of stabilization after yesterday's obviously very dramatic events.
One doesn't get the sense, though, that it would take very much for this to kick off into a new round and spread and get out of control again. What are your concerns that this could continue to evolve in the coming days?
Well, I think the issue with cartels in Mexico is a very long-standing one, and President Sheinbaum has no higher priority than getting that under control. And frankly, her security strategy is producing results. Mexico is working very closely with the United States in that regard. So I'll leave that sort of where it is. Our top concern here in the embassy, and I think for the government of Canada, of course, is the safety and security of Canadians on the ground here in Mexico, and making sure that they have all of the best and latest advice from us as to how to stay safe while they're here.
The staying safe while you're here is one thing. Getting out is another. Flight cancellations have obviously left so many thousands of people stranded. So far, only Air Transat has said that it's resuming flights to Puerto Vallarta tomorrow. What efforts are you and the embassy making to help get Canadians out?
Mm-hmm. So yesterday, as soon as we learned of all of this, the embassy, just like back at Global Affairs Canada headquarters, stood up emergency coordination units to make sure that we were getting maximum situational awareness of exactly what was happening, not just in Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara, but across the country. We have 10 offices and therefore 10 points of on-the-ground information all across Mexico, and monitoring all of the media channels, social media, in touch all day long with Mexican officials, right up to the top, and with like-minded embassies to make sure that we had all the best information we could gather. And then we collate that into advice for Canadians and push it out through our updated travel advisories. So 3 travel advisories through the day yesterday. And so far, again, the situation is stabilizing and is stable today. So I anticipate that it could be by later today we'll update our travel advice for Canadians.
Help me understand why Canada decided not to send a plane in to just help get these people out that have been stranded. I mean, 73 people have been killed. This is really scary for a lot of people that this is not at all what they had thought they were signing up for and going to neighboring Mexico.
Well, I think the first thing to sort of do in a situation like this, and this is our advice, is stay calm, where necessary, shelter in place. And that was our advice to those who were in the state of Jalisco yesterday. That was the state of Jalisco's advice. And frankly, the embassy agreed with that, is sort of stay calm, keep calm and carry on for now, and then wait and see where things go. Commercial flights out of Puerto Vallarta and out of Guadalajara domestically have resumed today. So there are flights from those cities, for example, back to Mexico City, Monterrey, Cancun, and elsewhere. And the situation for international flights from those cities direct back to Canada is so far looking good for tomorrow. The airlines themselves will make the call as to when they're ready to start bringing Canadians back home, but I'm feeling optimistic about that.
Those airports, as you well know, are packed, and the backlog is going to take an awful lot of time to work its way through. Is there airlift capacity that the Canadian government can provide to try to help alleviate that and help get Canadians that just want to come home back out of there?
So in our view, there's no need at this point to look for, airlift from Canada. There's more than enough capacity on the commercial side to get Canadians out. So surely there will be, it's going to take a little bit of time as those flights get rebooked. But I would encourage all Canadians who are on the ground in Puerto Vallarta or Guadalajara and you're waiting for your flight home, be in direct contact with your airline and they'll provide you with the best advice. We at the embassy collaborate with Canadian Airlines on the ground here in Mexico and back at Global Affairs Canada headquarters, likewise with the headquarters of the big Canadian airlines to make sure we've all got basically the same information. And then we push that out to to Canadian citizens or the airlines to their clients to make sure that people are, as organized as can be once flights begin to resume.
CBC News heard from a Canadian named Ian Thompson, who's down there. He says neither he nor any of his friends that are in Mexico who have registered with Global Affairs Canada have heard from it. He says when he tried to call the consulate on Sunday, it was closed. Why wouldn't it have been open in an emergency?
Well, the consulate and the consular staff were certainly working all day yesterday and again today. Although today in Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara, the offices are closed. They're not taking in-person appointments, but they're all working. And they were certainly all working yesterday as well. In a situation like this, we typically don't provide information by answering phone calls. And that's because each phone call tends to take a lot longer than anyone expects, and it really ties up a lot of staff. So what we did do yesterday is push information out online. Again, 3 times we updated our travel advisory, including late last night. I anticipate another one by later today. That information, if you're registered with the embassy, will come to you directly on your phone, by email, or by text. If you're not registered, or if you can't get registered for some reason, you can still find that information. I mean, you can just Google online, Canadian Government Travel Advisory Mexico, and the first hit you're going to get is our latest advice on Mexico. You can also follow the embassy on Facebook or on X, and the information is always available. The convenience of being registered is you don't need to go look for it. We'll push the information to your phone. So far today, it's a sort of a stable situation. We're relying on the same travel advisory from late last night. But again, watch that space. We'll provide, things are stable today, and I think we'll probably soon have a new travel advisory that reflects an improved situation from, again, the dramatic events of yesterday.
Given the time of year we're experiencing here in Canada, it's spring break for university students. March break is coming up for a lot of high school and middle school students. And I know a lot of families will have travel booked to Mexico in the coming weeks and into next month. If you had a Mexican vacation booked this spring, would you continue and go ahead with that? Where would you be if you were traveling with your family right now?
Well, the first thing to put in the hypothetical, if I were back in Canada and thinking about this, I would be registering now and looking online now for, the Canadian Travel Advisory information, and then read the whole thing, and then make decisions for myself about where I plan to travel. Every time Canadians leave Canada, in almost every case, including just across the border, you're traveling to a country that's probably less safe than it is at home. And you need to be wise as you make those decisions and have maximum information as you're making your bookings. So do that planning and do that sort of research, before making your plans. I travel myself widely in Mexico, mostly for work, but also for pleasure. And when I do so, I frankly always follow our advice. I stick to the places that we say are reasonable to travel to, and don't go to the places where, the Canadian Embassy is advising that it's not safe.
Just real quick before I let you go, Minister Anand said today that the Canadian government was given no indication that this operation was going to be launched, this operation that led to so many Canadians being stuck in cities with this gunfire and explosions. What is Canada, what is the embassy telling Mexico about that lack of notification?
Well, I think we understand that in a situation like this, there would have been a very high and intense operational security required for a very small number of people to know what was happening before this operation could be executed the way it was. So we're in constant dialogue, both at the political level and among our security officials with the Mexican government, and we'll continue that posture going forward.
All right, we're going to leave it there, but really appreciate your time. Cameron MacKay, Canada's ambassador to Canada. Thanks.
Thanks, Peter.